All right, it's 12 o'clock. I'd like to call the Economic Development Authority regular meeting to order for on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Please call roll.
Larson.
Here.
Black. Stai.
Here.
Grinde.
Here.
Hecht.
Here.
Horken.
Here.
Helms.
Here.
All right, thank you. Approved minutes from June 25th, 2024 regular meeting.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, please. Thank you. July 9th, 2024 meetings, special meeting. Need a motion to approve those minutes, please.
I'll second.
Thank you all. What am I trying to say here?
Favor?
All in favor?
All in favor? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Aye.
All opposed? I think that's the same sign. Thank you. Bills and communications, review of accounts payable July 2nd, 2024 and July 16th of 2024. Any questions on that? Carla will square us away. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right, we'll move on. Delinquency updates.
We have no delinquent accounts.
Director's reports for June 2024.
And I also attached in the meeting the quarterly social media update, the quarterly loan portfolio update, and the COVID forgivable loan updates. 11 of the loans have satisfied all of the terms that they had to meet, and I have distributed the satisfaction paperwork to each of those businesses. We have one business that comes up in October, and we have 3 businesses that come up next March. Thanks to the council and to the EDA for all their hard work in making sure that we made this program successful.
Right.
Just an update on that, they will be getting 1099s on that because it is considered
Sure, I
income.
remember us talking about
Everybody's aware of that.
Yep.
And each of them has been notified at least twice that they will
Yes.
be getting tax paperwork from you.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, AE2S quarterly update.
I just talked about
I
that.
didn't hear that.
I just said it was. that was
I'm
part
just
of the
looking at
reports.
Penny, how she was a heavy hitter.
Yeah.
All right.
Any questions or comments? I mean, we can do that, but.
Financial reports. Again, Carla can help us.
So everybody did get emailed the activity for each fund.
Yep.
For June, and then in the packet is the cash balances for each fund. Like we say every month, EDA general fund is at a negative, and that's because we budget for the year because we move it from the general fund at the year end. So as of today, or as of June 30th, 115 was spent, and the budget on that is about 220. So whatever we don't spend stays in the general fund. But we do budget for whatever Paul puts in as a budget. Questions on that?
Any questions for Carla? Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.
Unfinished business, director's job search update.
Do you want to have Reed just talk about that?
Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Reed, or?
I think I can start.
You haven't talked to anybody about it today.
I handed out when I walked in a little handout to each of you. Since we last met as a group, we did bring to the city council the consideration of hiring a search firm if needed. That was approved, up to $24,000. We also extended the local advertisement on our website and put out a few more pressers on social media and to some of the professional associations that we belong to. Those applicants, or the application window closed on Friday, July 19th for those. We ended up with 11 total applicants. So a few of us met here yesterday, a small group of us, and looked through the candidates and looked at qualifications as it relates to education and work experience. And we feel as a group that we have 7 candidates that would merit being extended an offer for an interview of the 11 applicants we had. So, of course, that's all private, non-public, confidential data right now. So what you're looking at in front of you just has a little brief explanation of the education that they have. BA or BS would mean Bachelor's of Arts or Bachelor's of Science, of course, and then a Master's would be the M or MBA. The way we scored points for those is for each year of related education, they get 1 point. And then as we look at related work experience, the same for any what we deem to be related, economic development, business management type work experience, public administration work experience, they'd get 1 point for each year of experience. So the total being, you can see there's kind of a clear line in work experience between candidates 7 and 8. So we use that largely for the determination on those that we feel have enough experience that they merit an interview. So that would be, I think this is the group of us that met yesterday, would be the recommendation is we'd extend interviews to those 7 candidates. We talked about doing that on Wednesday, July 31st, offering the initial interview date, and included on this packet, I've put together kind of a proposed schedule of interview slots that morning to work through. And Josh, please jump in with your leadership on this, but what we've talked about is just having an initial small group of the EDA do a subcommittee interview process for that, probably 3 EDA members and then a few city staff members to sift through that initial round of interviews. What that does is it wouldn't be a quorum of the EDA, so it wouldn't be on record as an open public meeting. It'd be a committee meeting, which would help us to make sure we can maintain that private, confidential status for these applicants to be remain private if they choose. And then when we get to the point of naming finalists, assuming we would name 3 or 4 finalists, at that point the data could become public, and we'd have to make sure that those candidates knew that. And we would extend that final interview date. We're targeting Wednesday, August 14th for that in the morning. That's all tentative. That's open for discussion, I think, with all of your schedules. But I would like to make sure that we offer that date to the full EDA board to be able to participate in that interview. And then just the general reminder is by the EDA bylaws, the final hiring authority for this is up to the EDA board. It doesn't require city council approval by our bylaws. So the way that I would expect we would engage the city council is the morning that we would have the final interviews. We would have sort of a meet and greet here. We've done that with some other department heads in the past, the most recent one being the Park and Rec Director position when that was open. That happened to be an afternoon, but we scheduled an hour time frame that all the other city department heads and any community stakeholders, city council members that wanted to participate in a meet and greet and have a chance to just have one-on-one conversations with the candidates could do that. So we would extend that in this process, and that would give an opportunity for council members that aren't part of the EDA to be able to meet the candidates. We'd have a note card process in place that we could collect comments from council members on their interactions and feelings towards the candidates, and those could all be reviewed and considered as part of the EDA's decision-making process. But the final authority to hire by the EDA bylaws is the EDA board's decision.
Question. On that meet and greet, Reed, did you do that? Is that all the candidates at once? Is that how you do that? Or is that like an individual time slot for every?
The way we've done it in the past historically is all the candidates at once, really as a social, sort of a social environment. We'd have coffee, some snacks or donuts. It could be set up in a room like this or out in the city council rotunda or city hall rotunda area, and just general meandering through the group and visiting with people.
And you might have said it, but the first round, would that be all in person? Are all these options, this is all in person?
I think what we would message on the first round is that we'd appreciate and intend on it being in person, but
Okay.
if there were extenuating circumstances that didn't allow someone to travel, if they're not as local,
Yeah.
we had to make a virtual option available to them.
Okay.
And I think this has been touched on in the past, but civil service does not need to be involved in this then?
No, no,
Okay.
they don't, it's not a civil service position because it's an EDA board position. So they do not need to. We could, if we desired to, we could, but, for the sake of time and moving the process along with a group of candidates here that we feel are qualified, I think the quickest, best form of action would be for our group to meet. That just, I think, will help expedite the process.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they are excellent, excellent, excellent candidates.
Good.
So I'm just so happy with the work that everyone's put in, and that we decided to reopen it, and, I mean, it's dang
Yeah.
good.
You get 11 applicants for anything this day. and
Well,
age. You're winning.
Very strong.
But when we, you know, when we had to narrow down that to 7 finalists, I mean,
It's good.
that, or selected to, I should say, I mean, there was a lot of roundtable discussion last night.
Yeah, and I would consider the 7 to be regional in the greater terms.
There you go.
So I think in person, if we can arrange it, is very practical.
Yes.
You know, we're not all over the place.
Yep.
And then, and I'm happy we didn't have to use that 25,000 for the city, because
Yeah.
it was waste.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, first of all, I'd like to thank the council for approving that for us, should we need it, because I think this is important that we find the right candidate, but I don't think that we need it either. I think we've got some very strong candidates.
Extremely. No, it's all went great.
Yeah, we're very lucky because we can get, I think we got some younger blood too to deal with here, so.
And it's a
Hopefully
broad
we can-
spectrum, yes.
Yeah, hopefully we can put them into position to be there for a very long term, you know. No offense, Paul, I'm old too.
You're not as old as I am. You know, and we will be explaining to the candidate what we're looking at as an October 14th start date, because that's when we ended up having to go
At the
to.
latest.
Yeah, that should give some time for some of that. We'll move all that, right? That's all yet to come, but.
And that was all in our round table last night, brought up, what if this, that. No, but thanks again.
How soon, Reed, do you need to know how good the August date is?
It's sooner the better.
Yeah, the sooner the better. I would say if I can know by the end of this week, if for those of you that are EDA members and would intend on participating, what your availability is. So we will, I would ask for a motion that we move forward with offering interviews to these 7 candidates. And once we get that, we'll start as early as today, contacting and scheduling these July 31st first round interviews.
Sure.
So count on that as set, and then communicate as soon as you know through Brenda or directly to myself what your August 14th looks like. If it can't be August 14th, I would like for it to be either still the second half of that week or in the first couple of days of the week following, all in an effort that we have that August 27th EDA meeting sort of as if we haven't made a decision and we want to gather some more input or reference checks, we can fall back to August 27th to make a final determination at that meeting.
I would almost say just schedule it and go with it. I mean, if you sit and wait for everybody to get back with what date works for everybody, there's always going to be dates that don't work for somebody that I would say almost just,
So is that a motion?
I mean, if you want some motion on that, yeah. Put it as a hard date, and whoever can make it, makes it. I mean,
Yeah.
if you sit and wait to hear back from
And
everybody.
Reed and I have talked briefly this morning. I already got it penciled in for the 14th and the 31st. That's why it's on to Wednesdays, because last night in the round table, I'm hoping to take a couple days off to use my foot wedge. Even though I don't golf, no. And so then they gave me crap, oh, it's all about me, and I said, yep.
She's gonna go fishing.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta get my boat in the water before it dry rots. So we need a second yet?
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. Please call roll.
Larson.
Yes.
Stai.
Yes.
Grinde.
Yes.
Hecht.
Yes.
Horken.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And for clarity, that's to move forward with the 7 candidates according to the schedule that was distributed today.
Correct.
Thank you, Paul.
Question, Reed and Josh, do you have the interview committee lined up? Is that set up? I am available both those days I don't know if you guys are going to throw that out to us.
Should we
How
talk about
you want to do that?
Let's-
Go ahead.
Last night, the committee that met was Brian and Dale.
And Josh.
Yep.
Josh and Reed and myself. And we need to be conscious of quorum, so
Yep.
that's what would be the initial, to weed people out. And then we have to technically make the meeting on the 14th a special meeting of the EDA,
Okay.
so that we can have everybody in attendance at that meeting.
And that's why I was saying.
Yeah,
that
perfect.
point. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay?
Is that good?
Yep.
Ben?
I'm
That work?
perfect. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that the whole board is there for the selection.
The 14th is the one we want.
Yes.
Everyone's voice is there. Which is
Okay.
And I think, Reed, you're going to have the council have the same thing as is possible, because we may have a quorum of the council that morning. Okay.
And that was part of the that was part of the reason for doing it that way, because
Yeah.
we kind of felt that everybody in this room on the board should have a little bit of say into
Yep.
what we're looking at.
And
or
see
who we're
what's going on.
getting, so
Yep.
we know what's happening, because
But I mean,
after all, we're the ones that's going to be working with that person, so.
on behalf of all of you guys, I can tell you, we got really,
Good.
really, really solid group.
That's great.
I mean, like, solid.
Yep, I'm available that Wednesday as well. It's
Awesome.
early for me, but
Yeah.
I'll be there. My day usually starts a lot later.
All right. Anything else?
So, Brenda, can you check availability of the room for the 14th, if you haven't already, please?
I haven't already because I didn't know anything about this, so.
And
You're the best.
31st, too, because we'll probably do that down here, won't we, Reed?
We'll work through that.
Okay.
Yep. Any more questions on that? All right, new business. Budgets.
Carla has provided us with 2 budgets that I went through and made recommendations for fiscal year 2025. And if you look at the memo, it shows that the net for the administration part of the budget, which is the 620 account, I'm recommending what amounts to is a net change of a minus $300. And for the 280 account, which is housing, it would be a net change reduction of $3,000 in the budget. I will caution you that the next director may have some different thoughts or may need some additional training or whatever as well. So that may well change in the following year, but
Sure.
And there would be some time to adjust that, because.
we can adjust it if we need to do it
No, when
before
the new person, when they come in. we
or
can-
the new person
Yes.
can just do it after the first year, too.
Well, yes, but
Yeah.
they could also do it in the fall.
Sure.
In the fall, Carla, we'll be able to plug in the updated salary and benefits for the
Correct.
new person
Yeah.
for the
Yes.
fiscal year 25.
Yep, and that might give us that'll give us probably some extra dollars for them to adjust somewhere else also.
We'll see where all that ends up.
Yes.
But basically flat, Paul, is what you're projecting, more or less.
Because the final is until December too, so. Thank you.
And you figure legal will be down?
Legal has been down. We're getting down to the end of the lots. So anybody who wants a lot, we don't have many available. Buy it now, or you may not be able to, okay?
It's going to be your final deal, Paul. You're going to get rid of every lot.
Without having the lots, we just don't do it. I know of 2 business loans that are very likely, one of which should be done this year. But if you look, the legal expenses for this year are down, and I've been watching the legal expenses, and we don't have to pay for today's meeting either.
Oh, sure.
There's a $12 salad over there.
So.
I'll drop it off for him. I'll drop it off for him.
So we're watching everything, all the expenditures carefully.
Sure. All right,
Josh,
look, yes,
do
sir.
we have a update on that lot out there by you on what's going on at Vanish lot? You know anything about that? Are we getting
I
anywhere with
haven't
that?
heard any more.
There's no new news.
It's.
There's
still
no
wait-
good news. I know that.
Well, it's getting to be quite old. I think it's time that we do something.
It's something that's outside of our hands, Dale. It requires sign-offs from the SBA.
SBA, yeah.
And until they get around to deciding if they're going to sign off, it just sits there. We don't have the
Control.
ability to do that. We don't have the ability to coerce them to sign off on it either.
Well, if it's just a small amount that we're talking, maybe between the city and the EDA, we should get something arranged or working so we can get that. And you know what? We'd be money ahead to get that taken care of and get that thing on the tax rolls.
Well, the difficulty is
The
that,
lot lines.
we, on the public side, don't have the ability just to give money to a private entity. Okay, we can't just give things. Remember when we went through the COVID loans? For the forgivable loans, there had to be something that the people did in order to receive the money.
And attached to.
Yeah, and that's the same situation we are here, where we can't just give a benefit to a resident or a property owner. It's got to be taken care of by the private entity. We just can't give the dollars to do it.
It's a bad deal.
Yeah, so I guess, is there anybody working on it even? Do we know?
You can't.
Ron has been monitoring it. The difficulty is that he has tried for years to get a response, to get it taken care of.
It's SBA sitting on
And-
their hands.
He cannot get the federal agency to do what they have to finish it off.
So, Paul, would there be any discretionary fund where we could maybe just give a loan to what's outstanding at the loan, the same rate for this person, to pay it off? And then it would be done? Is there
We'd
any-
probably have to do something out of the 280 account, which isn't what we normally do.
But, I mean, that could be an option, so we actually get it done with. I mean, if there's not many years left, there can't be many dollars, and, offer the same rates, the same payment schedule to
Yeah,
the
I don't know how much
homeowner.
I don't know how much is left.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, we could probably check that out, though,
Well,
and be done with
just on the
it.
legalese of it too, we'd have to check with Ron.
If there's a way to do that, though, that, like Dale said, it gets the lot purchased, which is a benefit for everyone. And then we're incurring legal fees every time that we ask Mr. Gallstead to work on that as well. So I think there's a lot of benefits to finding a way forward here within our
Jurisdiction.
within what's all right and proper, which of course we'll do. So
I think the other issue that we all can see in practicality in our own lives is interest rates are much different now than they were when Mr. Vanish tried to purchase this lot 4 years ago, or however long it was ago, and he's been in my ear pretty steady about that. So it's a bad deal for everybody.
That's why.
But he could pay for the lot and not have to build yet then, right?
Well, he could do anything he wants.
Right, but
the fact
I
is,
get
the
that,
interest rate
yes,
now is,
yes.
7.5,
Right,
whatever.
but we could get the
percent.
lot at least paid for, and there doesn't have to build on it immediately.
Correct.
That's not the rules, so, but we
Yeah,
could get the
and I
lot
mean-
paid for.
right, it would disconnect the city from this thing. This
Yeah.
goes back
Yeah.
to I'm not sure if snafu is a proper term, but an issue with land surveying that goes way back on
Yep.
the city side that was inadvertently pulled into this, proposed purchase. So, it's an unfortunate deal for a resident. We should think outside the box to just
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
He would love a solution if we
And the
can
only
come
reason
up
I
with
brought
one.
it up is
just
because I
don't
did
know
run
what
into
to
Mr.
tell him.
Vanish today too, and he's really, he's been pretty calm and cool, but I think he's getting to the point where he's just about had enough, and I don't blame him. I mean,
Right.
this has been carrying on, and I know how things go, they get put, and I guess that's the other reason I brought up, I don't want to see this thing go by the wayside. We need somebody to stay on top of this and get this taken care of, I guess is what I'm trying to get across.
You know, as we thank Paul for everything he's done, this could be something to wrap up on that same timeline, if it's possible.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, that's all reason
Yeah,
I
no.
brought it up.
Could
I mean,
we look at that then, Carla and Paul and Reed? Can we look at these options?
Yes, we'll,
just-
and keep you posted on that.
Yeah.
We'll work with Ron and,
And we're not looking to push the envelope. We're not looking to do anything that's unfair. It's just what can we do that's right, that gets the lot sold, and we can move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And on that same token, thinking outside the box, I don't know what the original sale price was. That's something that maybe the city council can consider helping that landowner out with, because it is a different situation now than it was then,
With the
so-
interest rates, right?
Yeah,
Certainly.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough.
And he's talked to me about that.
Yeah, and I guess
He
that's.
probably talked to you about it too.
Well, and that's why when we brought it up the last time, so we get it on the agenda, and that's where they brought up that was my biggest question was, okay, was this disclosed before the purchase agreement was signed? And it's yes, so.
It was.
So Mr. Vonish is just as much in the know as,
Yep, but I
Just the
think
rest of us.
in fairness, no one thought it was gonna take this long. Include you, me, Paul, anybody.
right, but when
so-
I hear SBA, railroad and everything, I just,
Yeah,
How could you know, though?
Right.
you don't.
Well, I
right.
think like Ben said though too, is that I think we can heavily look at what the price of that lot was originally gonna be sold for and what we can do on it, because it'd be no different than what we've done on the golf course lots, that we basically had those things priced at break even. And if there is more profit built into that lot, I have no problem myself voting for getting that thing off to him for break even, if that's the case.
Yeah, cover the specials and
Yeah.
the costs incurred.
Same
right?
thing
Yeah.
we did on the golf course.
Like
lot
you
to
said,
get rid
think outside the box to
Yeah,
figure this
right,
thing
it is,
out.
yeah.
Cost, isn't it, right now, Paul?
Basically, yeah, but we'll talk after the meeting.
Yeah. Okay. So, back onto the budget here. We need a motion to approve, correct?
Please.
Move.
Second?
Please call roll.
Who made the motion?
Yeah.
Dale?
Dale.
Sorry, Brenda.
I was looking at it on both sides,
Just so I'm
Yeah,
clear, we're voting on,
As it sets here.
but we're proposing this back to the city council for future budget discussions?
Correct.
So it really isn't, this isn't the official budget yet.
No.
Not until the city council adopts it,
Yeah, the motion would be
Right, right.
directing Paul to submit those numbers as his budget request to the city council.
which
Okay.
Carla wanted them a few days ago, so they're already submitted.
Got it. Okay.
So thanks for approving. Can please call roll?
Larson,
Yes.
Stai,
Yes.
Grinde,
Yes.
Hecht,
Yes.
Horken.
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, anything else? Anybody has questions?
Yes, one small thing. Mr. Grinde is acting as president of the EDA, and myself signed a letter of support for the air service. Okay? For improving the air service at the Grand Forks Airport. And that's just to let you know that we did that Josh signed it yesterday
Because
morning.
that's a piggyback on the council there that approved funds, correct?
They haven't approved funds yet. They have said that they would participate in the project.
Okay.
I don't know, I voted no on it, so. I see no benefit.
I do, so I
He wants
voted yes
people on
on it.
buses, not planes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Barry told me. Certainly, somebody in transportation like you would know that. Looking at, again, spending money that is gonna be no return to us. And if it is, it's gonna be a long time before we see it.
All
And
right.
it's not guaranteed, because if that airline comes in, they don't have no people, and they pull out, now we're out 20 grand, it's gone. So, that was the other thing that kinda
And if I had one more number, I had won the lottery.
Yeah.
Well, for me, if I have 6 more numbers, I'd win the lottery.
I was 5 short also.
Yeah.
But that was nice that you did that.
Yep. All right, anything else?
Need a motion to adjourn.
Yep, we just need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? You sure? Thank you.
Please turn off the mic.